Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to talk about animations. And is a 3D animation for the Celestial Toymaker in the works, or possibly another Who story? Possibly. Little clues. One of the guys on the merchandise forum who really knows his stuff, and you've heard me talk about him before if you've watched my channel, his name is Gordon. Gordon is really good at catching little things and putting things together, and he posted something quite interesting about an employee that used to work with Big Finish Creative on some of the other Doctor Who animations. He said, I suspect we will get Smugglers announced in November, Toymaker announced some point next year, don't expect, okay. He then goes on to talk about Chloe Gretsch, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but apparently she directed Galaxy 4 and was pretty much earmarked to replace Gary Russell for Big Finish Creative. She has an interesting post on her LinkedIn account, which we're going to go to right now. So we're at Chloe Gretsch, and we're on her LinkedIn page. Now, she has worked on 3 of the Doctor Who animations because she was with Big Finish Creative. She was the line producer and co-director of the animation for Fury from the Deep. She was the director and producer of the animation for Galaxy 4. And she was the co-director and co-producer of the animation for Abominable Snowmen. Now, she left Big Finish Creative in June of 2022, and she now works for Shapeshifter Studio. Now, Shapeshifter Studio, if you remember, are the people who did the 3D animation for episode 3 of The Web of Fear. So they do have a history of doing work, animation work, for classic Doctor Who. Now, I know some of you, your first thought is, The Web of Fear episode 3 animation. Well, calm down. Calm down. Let's also keep in mind they have to know the feedback from that animation. Fans are very vocal about feedback, especially the Doctor Who fandom. We are vocal if we like something or if we don't like something. So I'm sure they have to know the animation for episode 3 of Web of Fear wasn't very highly regarded by a lot of people. But they've had 2.5 years to improve on it, to make progress with it. And Gordon actually brings up a good note on that in a later post where he says, they've had 2.5 years to improve on things. I always said it holds potential if more time, money, and animators. And I suspect with it being a 4-parter, it will have that. I agree. This isn't just filling in one missing episode like Web was. This is basically recreating a whole story, potentially. What it says, interesting, getting back to her LinkedIn page, was, since 2022, and I'm quoting here, I'm reading, I have been with Shapeshifter Studio where I managed the post-production slate of live-action films and pre- and post for multiple children's animated TV series. Currently, we have been commissioned for a 4x 24-minute 3D animated series. That means 4 episodes that are 24 minutes apiece. 3D animated series, which I am both production managing and supporting the animation team. So, a person who has strong ties to the Doctor Who animations, having directed and produced one of them, co-directed, co-produced another, and been involved in another one. Fury from the Deep, Galaxy 4, Abominable Snowmen. Basically the last 3 main ones we've had, or 3 of the last 4 of the main ones we've had, is now working for Shapeshifter Studio, who did the 3D animation for Web of Fear episode 3. And is currently working on something that is 4 episodes at 24 minutes apiece. Now, I'm not saying that it's Doctor Who, but that fits Doctor Who like a glove. I can't think of anything else it would be, actually. Something that's 4 episodes at 24 minutes. Literally nothing else comes to my mind. It fits Doctor Who to a glove, especially with so many 4-parters. And I actually did some research, and maybe I missed one, but I came up with about 6 of them that made sense. Now, first is the Celestial Toymaker. 4 parts, 3 of them missing. You figured they'd animate the whole thing. Toymaker is going to be possibly a good one to animate now that it's been confirmed that Neil Patrick Harris is indeed doing the Toymaker. Since it's mentioned that makes good sense that they would want to capitalize on his new popularity, especially if the specials go over well. Neil Patrick Harris is a great actor. I suspect he will nail this role. A lot of fans who aren't familiar with the Toymaker, maybe they're younger fans or people who just watch the modern series, are going to want to have an opportunity to see more of this character. And they may get to see the surviving episode 4, but the first 3 episodes of the original Celestial Toymaker are missing. So an animation would be a great way to capitalize on that newfound popularity for the character. Of course, there is that one little bit they'll have to censor out, you know, the part I mean, but that's mumbled very low to begin with, so I'm sure they could just beep that out, remove that very easily. And I think Toymaker would be a good one for 3D animation. It very much is one of those more fantasy stories like The Mind Robber, and I think there's so much you can do with that if you're left to your own devices and not forced into sticking to what was done in the original story. Being this kind of fantasy world the Toymakers created, I think you can have a lot of fun with that if you take a Macroterra approach to it and really give the team some creative liberties, which I would be fine with. Now, another one is the Smugglers. It has been rumored that a Smugglers animation is coming, and perhaps instead of a 2D animation for the Smugglers, this is what we're getting for the Smugglers. Smugglers is a 4-parter, so it's a strong possibility that maybe a 3D Smugglers is in the works. That would be interesting. We wouldn't be expecting that. That would be interesting. Could be the Crusade. Very doubtful. I don't think they would animate a story that's already been released in a box set like Crusade has, with the Crusade already being released in the Season 2 box set and the Recon, the Telesnap Recon being fine for it, in my opinion. I find that one very unlikely. Same thing for the Savages, because the Savages seems like it would be one that would be easy to animate in 2D, so I figured they would wait and do that one in 2D. I remember back when Galaxy 4 came out and we thought we were just going to be getting 2 or 3 animations a year. We were really riding high there. Everybody figured the next Hartnell would be the Savages. Apparently the Savages would be very easy to do in traditional 2D animation. So I figured they would save that for that and focus on doing the harder to do ones with 3D animation, like possibly the Smugglers, the Toymaker. Another good possibility is the Massacre. I don't really know much about the Massacre because I've never actually watched any of the recons or read the books, but that is a 4-parter as I recall, unless I'm wrong on that. So that's a possibility. Or the Highlanders. The Highlanders, probably the only viable way to animate it would be in 3D animation. That strikes me as one that we would never get in 2D animation, at least not with current technology and things costing what they do, because it strikes me, especially with all the Scottish kilts and stuff, that just strikes me as it would be really difficult to do that in 2D animation. I don't think the budget would be there for that. So that would be a great way to tackle the Highlanders, which at this point, if we do get the Smugglers, and with Underwater Menace coming, we would have Season 4 complete. So I could see it being the Highlanders, but I think Toymaker is a strong possibility, because again, I think the specials will bring the Celestial Toymaker into more of the the casual audience's mind, people who aren't familiar with the character, and make them want to see his earlier adventure with Hartnell. So it makes sense from an economic and financial standpoint to do Toymaker. Or again, since it's rumored we're getting Smugglers, it could be Smugglers. But I can't think of anything else that fits, 4 episodes at 24 minutes, 3D animated series, from someone who is both production managing and supporting the animation team, from someone who has that much experience with Doctor Who animations as Chloe has, and it's a company that has already animated 1 Doctor Who episode. So again, nothing confirmed, could be totally wrong, but it makes sense if they're working on something that's 4 episodes at 24 minutes, that it could be a 3D animation for one of those stories. So I just kind of wanted to get that news out there. I wasn't sure if people were familiar with it. I do want to thank Gordon. Gordon's just amazing at finding this stuff. He's always on the Doctor Who merchandise forums. He's the go-to guy I look for to post. He always has some really good information. So I want to know your thoughts on this and what you might think of Shapeshifter Animations attempting another 3D animated episode. And again, they've had time to improve over Web of Fear. They've had 2.5 years to work on it. I'm sure they know the feedback. I'm sure they know that episode wasn't well received by a lot of people. And if they're doing 4 episodes, that's going to be the main version of this. The definitive version, people would probably say, like the animations tend to be now, they'll probably put more money into it as well and more animators. So I want to know what you think of all of this news. Comment down below and let me know. Other things to do, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me that way. There's a link to that down there. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. It makes a big difference, and I certainly appreciate it. I have YouTube memberships available, and a link to my Amazon wish list is also down there, and my P.O. box is down there as well if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. I will add a link down there to Chloe's LinkedIn page if you want to look at it for yourself. Most importantly, thank you for watching.